And away we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerd Related Podcast.
Another one.
Yep. I'm at the new place. I'm doing this in my bedroom right now because my girlfriend is doing homework and our desks are like back to back.
How dare she do homework?
Right? And she ain't give me no proper finish time. So I was like, I'll just go in the room. I can't be waiting for you all day. So it's been a fun 3 days.
Moving. You got the moving.
Yeah, got everything in yesterday, and then there's a hole in our basement, and the water was flooding through, and the owner had to come over
Yikes.
here and fix it. There must be like a part-time fix it man or whatever. That motherfucker, he was over there with a saw, great, banging and clanging away over there. But you seem like a cool dude. Yeah, that's about it for me, man. Just doing that, working and moving.
Yeah, I just been chilling. Work too. Went to my buddy Zach's wedding on Saturday. That was cool. It was at a nice house. It was at the Stella in Kenosha. It was nice. Place is nice. Has like a rooftop bar. The
Wedding was fun.
hall was cool. We left a little early. My girl's kind of sick, and then this air quality shit be messing her up. She has asthma, so she's already sick. Plus, now she's having a hard time breathing with the air quality. There's some Canadian wildfires in the Midwest right now. Is under a crazy ass air advisory. Chicago
I
has
know.
the worst air in the world right now.
I came outside and I was like, it smells like something burning out here.
Yeah,
Something that's crazy, dog.
something's burning in another country and it's messing us up.
Dog, I opened the door to go out, because I thought I left my keys at the old house, and I was like, somebody boss, you can't burn shit in this neighborhood. You can't burn nothing over here. That's illegal. Who doing that? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
so
I didn't even know about it. Then someone on Facebook was like, man, it's Canadian air or something. And I was like, I guess that's why the skies are all gray and smells. That's
yeah,
crazy.
visibility is nuts. So like I work in I won't call it a high rise. It has like 12 floors. We're like on the 10th floor. But we can see downtown Milwaukee. It's a super far away, but you can see it. And today you can't see shit. Like you would look out the windows and it's like just straight
Yeah, no,
smog.
the skies were gray. I was like, man, I'm dumb. Not dumb, but like I don't really care about otherworldly stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's not my wheelhouse, and I don't. What can I do about it anyway? But I didn't even know there was any fires going on. I didn't know. So
It
sorry if
is
you're in
nuts.
Canada. Hope everything works out and your house doesn't get burnt down.
I don't even know how it starts. Wildfires are weird. Like obviously they're supposed to be wild, so lightning hits a random dry patch of grass in a random forest, all of a sudden shit catches on fire.
And somebody flicked a cigarette.
Nah, because if it was that, they usually identify that right away, and then it
Yeah.
becomes this whole new story. Like, oh, this is person started this, and I mean that's happened in California, and they cause hella damage. But this seems to be a legit, grass too dried sort of event.
Well,
Caught fire.
Brian, if we lived in a silo, we wouldn't have to deal with this type of shit.
You wouldn't have to deal with a lot of stuff in a silo.
Yeah.
But you would have to deal with a whole lot of other things in a silo. Like cameras in your mirror.
Dude, I couldn't live like Doug. Wait. I could do, hey, man, like, hey, imagine all the people they call beating off because don't nobody know.
Oh, for sure. Just in front of the camera. Just going to town looking at the camera, admiring yourself. They should make like a parody show, just like even like a CCTV thing where like they just show you all the different cameras at just the different places.
Dude,
that'd be
hella
creative.
Their wives, beating their kids and shit, just
all kinds of shit. Just all kinds of shit.
Just saying,
and they don't know they're being recorded, so
Nope. Dude, someone's on the couch just letting their rib like, yeah, you mother. The guy's like, hey, look at this dude. Look at this guy here. Hey,
and then if you like run into him in public and shit, yeah, you just see him like why is that guy looking at me like that?
Like, man, you were just banging a watermelon about 15 minutes ago.
Or even like non-nasty stuff. Like People don't wash their hands after taking a shit, and then they're like, shake. Hey, how you doing?
You were coming out the bathroom. He's like,
Just
oh,
touching all the communal food and shit, grabbing apples off of the stand. Like, what are you doing, dog?
oh man. Hey
I
guys, I
can't
came
even
in the potluck.
imagine.
Don't eat none of that man's food. Eat none of his shit. We saw him make that, and he ain't washed his hands not one time.
It's always crazy when you like when you know you'll go to the bathroom. I used to work with this dude, and for some reason I run into him in the bathroom. Like I wouldn't say like frequently, but often enough to like notice. And he'd be in there doing his business, regardless of what it was, peeing or taking a shit. He would never wash his hands, dog. He would just leave. I'm like, I am never shaking this dude's hand ever in my life. And he would
I'll be,
actively try to shake people's hands, like, don't do it, dog. Don't
I'll
do
be
it.
lobbying to get him fired. I'll be like, hey man, this man is not shaking. He's not cleaning up at all, and he's shaking everybody's hands in here. You know that flu that was going around? He probably started it because he don't wash his fucking hands after he takes a
Dog at
shit.
potlucks, I'll be like intently watching, like, oh, he grabbed from those chips. Like, I ain't eating them shit.
Hey, he said,
And it's
yeah,
one of those weird things where like you can't just walk around telling people, you know what I'm saying? Because it's
yeah.
super
Hey,
weird.
hey, don't eat them. Don't eat that potato.
Speaking of weird ass bathroom things, like imagine because they have them in the mirrors. I don't know. They didn't look like there was none in the bathroom, but
No, it's like living room stuff.
imagine just like seeing just the weird shit that people do, dog. Like I was in a restroom the other day, and this dude, I'm in there just peeing, trying to mind my own business. This dude in the first stall, and he's like, when you take a shit, you're like facing the door. So this dude is facing the wall. He must have been like hovering over the toilet. So his feet are facing the wall. He's completely backwards on the toilet. And I'm thinking, like, what is fam doing? And you just he was literally shitting that way. He must have been hovering, looking the opposite direction. I'm
Oh,
like,
hey, I would
what
have
is
said something
going
like,
on right
like,
now?
hey, you know your feet are pointing the wrong way, my guy. And I would have just walked out.
I'm just like, yo, what the hell is going on? You just see
Oh,
the weirdest shit in public, die. Like people just do some weird ass stuff.
I went into the bathroom and seen someone's ass cheeks because their pants were around their ankles taking a piss. Like, bro, just pull it out a little bit. This man was
Oh,
in
he
there.
was peeing. I've actually seen
Yeah,
that too in like a public restroom,
yeah.
like just randomly, straight butt cheeks in the air, pants on
Like,
the ankles.
what are you doing, G?
I
I can see your nutsack. Like, what are you doing, dog? Get
wonder
out of
if this
here.
video is gonna get censored. We're kind of bordering the line there.
Nah, should be all right.
So, episode 9 of Silo. I think that's why we got on this little tangent.
Amazing.
Dude,
Amazing.
so good. So good. So today on the radio on the way home, I listen to sports radio mostly on the way home. And there was one of the local sportscasters. She was on there. They usually talk about in the afternoons, like, what new show are you watching? What would you recommend for whatever reason? There's not a lot of
Yeah.
sports shit going on. And she was like, you guys aren't watching Silo. You should be watching Silo. And she was like geeking up the show. And I was like, yeah, you should be watching Silo. This show's amazing. Dude, I was telling my buddy about it because he likes sci-fi stuff. And he's like, I don't have Apple TV because they're Samsung users. And I was thinking, like, I know there's a lot of Apple people, but like, how many like Samsung users don't even know what's on Apple TV? You know how much good shit is on Apple TV right now? That's
So if
wild.
you don't have, oh yeah, you need a Apple account, right?
You need an Apple ID, but you can subscribe to it. But if you have a Samsung, you would have no need. If you don't have a Mac, an iPad, or a phone, you would have no need or want to check out Apple
I
TV more
didn't
than
think about
likely.
that. That's crazy. Yeah, because dude, plenty of people at work, I know they have Androids and stuff. I'm like, man, you watching that show on Apple TV? They're like, no. I'm like, dude, you should get it. They're probably thinking in their head like,
I
I
don't even
can't.
have Apple
I
TV.
don't, I don't own any Apple products. I'm like, I'm thinking now
Yeah,
you
my
said
buddy
that.
Eric's like, bro, I don't have Apple TV. I was like, dog, you are missing out right now. It's not just Silo. There's a lot of shows on there.
Yeah, but dude, I never even thought about it. My mind is blown right now because like I'm seeing somebody with an Android and I'm talking to them like, dog, you watch this show on Apple? And they're like, nah. I'm like, man, you need to get that shit. And they're probably like, I
Yeah, like
wish,
I am
dude.
not subscribing to Apple
Yeah,
TV. I don't even have an iPhone.
I never thought about that.
It's
Never.
nuts.
That is crazy because, dude,
Crazy.
there's
It's
a lot of
crazy.
people out there
There's a
that
lot of
don't
people.
that can't even watch this show, or like you can, but they're not gonna go.
Right.
You know, wow, wow,
Nuts.
that's
And again,
crazy.
not so like I know you don't watch a lot of these shows, but like Ted Lasso's an award-winning show. They probably never even heard of it. Silo, Foundation, Severance. Boy, there's a
The
I don't know
movies,
what it's
the
there's
movies are
movies
fire on
too.
there
Yeah,
too.
dude, the Ghosted whatever with Ana de
Yeah,
Almas and
yeah,
Chris
my girls
Evans. That
don't watch
movie
it.
was awesome.
That's
They have a
that's
new show coming out with Eldris Elba. Did you see that?
yeah, yeah. Oh, that looks
Like
good.
on the plane.
I
So
love
it's gonna
Idris
be like
Elba.
24. So they're gonna do it's a series, but
Yeah.
they're gonna do it like 24 did it, where like it's in chunks. So like every hour is an actual hour on the plane. So I'm actually excited to check that out. Looks pretty cool.
I have never watched 24, not one episode.
I've watched some of it, but the style of it is why I'm mentioning it because it's
Yeah.
literally recorded the same way. So
So
however long they're on this plane, if it's an 8 hour flight or whatever, there'll be like 8 episodes and there'll be like 8 real time 1 hour segments or whatever.
oh, okay. I mean, I get the premise of it. I always wanted to check it out, because of that, but I just never did.
That's cool.
So, what do you think about this episode?
Bro, fire. Finally getting answers. It was so good, dog. So good.
Hey, I like the comedy relief between the dude that was like hacking the thing,
Oh
and
yeah.
then yeah, he's like, "Man, where did we
Everything.
stit?" She's like, "Hey, right there, Sarah, where it says
Where's this?
start
Are
here."
you
Like,
here?
oh,
Oh yeah, that'd be a great place. So just to kind of set the stage before um last time we saw Juliet or Sheriff Nichols, she was falling off of the railing.
no,
And
she jumped off.
she
She wasn't
jumped, right?
falling.
So, we picked this up. Luckily, or by plan, she only fell one flight of stairs, so she landed on the walkway and she gets up, starts running, and now the rest of the episode is Judicial trying to hunt her down, and it's just the show is so good at like raising the stakes because like now they're trying to find her and she has to get into this hard drive before they find her, and like the whole episode is like, well, she's at a severe disadvantage because they have all these cameras, they have all these people. Even though she's the sheriff, it means nothing at the moment. And it's just one of those episodes where
Like,
a lot happens.
how does she keep getting away in this
Dog,
silo? Like,
she's just
keeps
so
getting
smart,
away.
bro.
Dude,
She's
she
so
went to
smart.
dude's house. He never thought in his mind that she
So
would
he
be at
did.
my crib.
He did though because Sim sent the two people to escort his wife to the house, and they
Oh yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to come in the house, and his wife didn't let them. So he thought of it. Like Sims is smart as hell. He
Yeah,
definitely thought it was a possibility. Otherwise, he
yeah.
would have never sent his agents to go with her.
And dude, they when they finally opened that file, and it was the girl, and you get to see the video footage of it. It's like they lied. It's fine out here. It's all what I'm saying. I told you she didn't die, man. I knew she didn't die.
Even before that, like there's so much that happened. Like, so the mayor has a little, I don't know what we're gonna call this, a little gadget with the number 18 on it, and it was flashing red. I told you this whole time, bro. They are not the only silo, dog. Somebody else communicates with them because that looked like a method of letting them know a message was coming or something.
Yeah,
So,
so yeah,
so we got another thing that we do not have an answer for. But
yeah. You
beyond that,
think it's another silo. We don't know
I'm
that.
I'm positive. Like I would bet you money that this is happening. I have no doubt. This is a District 13 from a Hunger Games type deal without a shadow of a doubt. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, because you said those people died when they went outside.
I said they
So
could have died, but I also been telling you this whole time that there are other silos.
no, that's true. I mean, I want to know what the world outside is like now. Though, like, are there people out there thriving, living? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are the point of these silos? Why did they make them? Why are they trying to control people this way? Like, there's
Yeah,
still a
what
lot of
type of
questions, but a lot of
social
questions are also
experiments going
answered.
on?
finally, this episode had the most questions answered, at least that I was looking for. You know what I'm saying? Finally, you know. And then when we got one more episode, and they left us on a cliffhanger again. Like,
I
damn.
mean, the season finale is going to leave us on a mega cliffhanger for sure because it's already renewed for season 2. So
But
that's
what's crazy is
happening.
like how many cliffhangers, you know what I'm saying, there's been. I'm like,
There's just so
geez.
many questions.
Yeah.
I
But
liked
they,
so much in the episode, like the dynamic between Sims and his wife, who was like a raider for
yeah.
judicial. Like
Yeah. The thing is, too, she was like, you need to stop. So I think she knows something too. Well, obviously, being Sim's wife, she knows something.
he clearly shares more than he should with her, and she's in on the
Well,
plan.
we all
But
do.
that's
We
the
all do.
part that's cool is like seeing like his wife is in his corner, like trying to get him where he wants to go. Like clearly he wants to be the shadow um to the mayor and not even necessarily be the mayor because this guy's the mayor by pure happenstance at this point because it had to happen, but because
Well, he's
he
running the
wants to
show.
have that dude's job, the
Yeah.
IT job, not the mayor job. The IT
Yeah. He
job is
wants
more
to.
important than
Yeah, he
than
wants
the
to be running the
mayor.
show.
Yeah. So it was cool just seeing her kind of leveling them out. Like, okay, this is the main goal. This is what we want to do. And he's like, bro, he ain't having it right now. And she's like, oh, what did he say? So she's definitely a big influence on him and the major moves that happened to
Yeah.
him on the show.
Yeah. Man, when they were when dude was talking to dude, he was like pretty much saying like, "Oh, you let her slide for some pussy," you know what I'm
Yeah, yeah.
saying? Dude was like, "Oh, that's what you liked her." So this is what that shit. I love that part. He was grilling her for it. Oh
I
man,
mean, Bernard's too, like that dynamic of the silo comes first. Like Bernard's questioning Sims now, like, hey, I was gonna make you my shadow. But and then he lied about it because he asked them directly earlier, where did you all send people? And he was like, oh, we went blah blah blah, but he didn't mention his wife. And then when they were in the janitor room, Bernard's like, you know, I had you pegged to be my shadow, and then you
Bernardo, no.
sent 2 agents to protect your wife. Like that doesn't show that the silo is first, right? That shows that your family's first. So it adds a whole nother level of complexity of the power struggle that's gonna happen within the silo, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, because shit. Ultimately, Sims could be a part of the revolution or something now. Like if he feels like he ain't gonna, like that's what happens if you have a goal or something, and then you see that goal slowly slipping away. Like, well, shit. If I can't be the head of this place, let's shut this place down. Type shit. You know what I'm saying? That could happen real fast.
And then Billings, that another interesting arc. Billings found the book. He's super smart, dog. He's
Hey, I don't
just
like that he burned it
he's
though.
by the
He's a
rules. He's
punk.
by the rules.
No, hell no. He ripped out a page and then burnt the book. How you gonna burn it but then keep some for yourself? Jerk.
Because now he's questioning it. His internal morality is I gotta play this by the pack. But now everything is, not the way he thought it is. So he's not gonna flip the switch overnight when this dude was winning competitions on being able to recite the pact and like living it. He's like the opposite of Sims. Sims is legit do whatever it takes to protect or build the silo. And Billings is we will only do what the rules allow us to do. Like it's just
Yeah.
that polar contrast of it, which is interesting.
Yeah. With
So good.
besides keeping stuff.
Well, he
Dude,
saw something that he was intrigued by.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think it's the beach. Maybe I don't know what page you. Yeah,
It
they
didn't
didn't show.
show. It didn't show.
I want to
It
see what
didn't
he
show.
took.
I
I want
mean,
to see.
Sam's wife letting Juliet go.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting too. It's interesting.
That's what I'm saying. She was about to knock her over the head with a hammer, and she seen what she was listening to, looking at. It, she's like, "You gotta stop this." You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, why?
Oh, because
That's
she
like,
could have took her out right there. It would have been a
oh, yeah.
wrap. It would have been a
Oh,
wrap.
she was all in there. You know what I'm
She
saying?
could have grabbed a gun. She could have did all kinds of stuff.
Hey, you see how much they were amazed by that video recording?
Dog,
That
I was
old
about to say
ass
that
video
right now.
recording. He's like, "Yeah, oh, this is a video." They're all like, "What's a video recording?"
He was like, I recorded this on a camcorder that I found and fixed. The video
Mm-hmm.
was the video is what gave us the most answers on this episode. We found out what he was doing down there, why he sought out Juliet. We found out what was on the hard drive. We found out why it was on the hard drive. We found out he did fall in love with her because that was a thing a couple episodes ago. Where like he
Yeah,
was only
she
using
no
you. He didn't like really want you. He was there just to get what he wanted and leave like he always does.
fell in love with you.
So he fell in love with her, and he's telling her that on a contraption that they probably never even imagined was possible. Like
No, they
he's talking to her through a screen after he died. That in itself has to be mind-boggling.
I like that dude though, man. Like, he's old school. He's, she's like, hey, trying to give her time, like show respect. He's like, come on, man, get your ass up out of her. Let her watch your little video, man. Have some respect. I like that kind of stuff, man, because I'm the same type of way. So whenever I see that old school kind of respect and shit, I was like, oh yeah, man, good on you, man. He's like, man, get fucking let her have her time for a second, man. You know what I'm saying? That's her man who died. Give her a minute.
There's thousands of files on that hard drive.
Dude, so many.
Thousands. And the dude, here's one thing that I kind of like feel kind of iffy at, because I mean, they have some technology, but it's limited. But the guy that they called to help log in is doing some sophisticated ass shit that people even today don't like. A normal person doesn't know how to bounce the IP address throughout the entire silo, putting it in different apartments. Like, I get that he works probably with IT, right? He knows some of this stuff, but it doesn't fit the average person we've met in the silo so far. Yeah, it was like weird. It felt weird, but you needed it. Otherwise, how the hell else were they going to get in the hard drive?
Yeah, but also too, every person we've met in the silo ain't average. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see the average person, but every person that's a part of the show, whatever, is not normal kind. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know what I mean? So he's probably some tech guy. He's probably stole some stuff, or he messes around a lot. That if you notice that, like, every person we meet in the silo is above average. You know what I mean? Like, you don't deal with we haven't really dealt with anyone regular really that has some kind of they're doing something in a show or a part of an episode. They're usually
I mean, so he had the hard drive first. So
yeah, he remembered it.
Yeah, he remembered it, and then old boy had it, and then Juliet ended up with it. So he has background information on it to begin with, right? So like, I get that part of it, but the amount of like tinkering and when did you ever open a hard drive that you would have had to like, right? Where would you have to have like bounced the signal throughout the silo so they couldn't find you?
Yeah, because he pulled out like some cords and wires and stuff. Like, oh, you just got that on you? You know what I'm saying? People ain't supposed to have that kind of shit, but you just got it on you. You know what I'm saying?
It was interesting.
It was cool though. It was cool to see though.
No, and like you said, that banter between those two characters was good. It gave it right away. It gave it a different. It gave it a different vibe because the episode was all about
how she get all the way to floor 98. He's like, it ain't there, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knew right away.
Oh yeah, he was like, there's no way.
He was like, this guy's good, but I'm better. I was like, okay, all right, okay. Yeah, the show's great, man. Really,
it's so good. It's so good.
It is crazy. Like, we went from The Last of Us, and we're like, damn, we're gonna watch. And it took a second, and boom, the show hits, and it's so good. It's not as good as that. I mean, I don't know if anything will ever be as good as that is, but it's great in its own right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm ranking TV shows, I think The Last of Us is like maybe the best. I mean, I don't know anything better than in my mind, but Silo is really good. Nothing's holding my attention. Like, it's right up there with me though for those two. Like, in the last like 10 years, probably these were my two favorite shows.
I mean, it's one of those episodes or one of those shows like The Last of Us, even though I knew mostly what would happen because I played the game. There's been many shows like that, probably not at that level, but like shit you haven't watched. Like Game of Thrones was a show that weekly everyone talked about and couldn't wait to see the next episode of. And up until the final season, it was one of the best shows that was on TV ever. That final season was crazy. But like, it's that water cooler talk too. Like, think about it goes to how things are released. Like Silo's a great show. If Silo was on Netflix and we got all 10 episodes at one time, it would feel different. It would feel different because we're watching it at the same time, and we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing right now, talking about it, building the anticipation, wondering what's next. Like that's what gives certain shows more life, is that what they call water cooler talk, right? Like you're at
True.
work, and
Waiting.
you're talking to people about it, and you're building like, yo, did you catch that last episode? Because we're in a binge heavy world, and you can tell all of the other streaming services are dialing that back. Even Netflix isn't releasing entire seasons at once now. They're breaking them into parts so that they can leave you on a cliffhanger and then bring you back for the second half of the
Which is
season.
good. I'm probably against the norm or whatever. I'm tired of the binge shit, man. Like I wanna watch something, be left, and be like, man, what's about to happen? What's happening next? You know what I'm saying? I want something to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to look forward to nothing no more. They just want to be, you know, I'm not that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't mind binging shit, but I'm tired of it now. You know what I'm saying? I like this. I like the episode, I like the Last of Us. I'm liking the Silo, you know what I mean?
Dude,
But some
another
shows don't need
thing.
to be that way either. Like if it's like some
No.
comedy show, man, throw that shit out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think it's important, especially for like dramas like that, to have that build up. Like, I get like anime probably doesn't need it. Like, certain shows don't need it. You're probably right.
Yeah,
Comedy probably doesn't need it. But like a good drama show, like
needs it.
that build up and anticipation, you need that. Because if I'm binging it, I'm just going from one episode to the other, and I don't have that. You never feel that. Like you never feel what's gonna happen next because I could just watch it. You know what I'm saying? I just be like, well,
Yeah,
play next or let it
yeah.
ride.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing
Yeah,
I
that's
just thought about in the episode was he addresses the water thing. He didn't
yo.
answer
He
it.
said he told her no, but he said you need to get in the water.
No, he said, turns out the water thing wasn't that big of a deal. So like he didn't tell her how to get in it, what happened in it, but I get the feeling that the water's probably not even that deep, dog, because she never got into it. But he was
Yeah,
just like, turned out it wasn't that big of a deal. So I hope she goes to the damn. I feel like the last episode's gonna stop when she reaches the doors and then they're about to open to see what's beyond the doors, and then we're gonna have to wait a whole year and a half to know what's going on in the silo.
shit's gonna be the doors to another silo.
Man, it would be crazy. It
Yeah, that
would be
shows.
crazy.
I can't wait I can't wait for this last episode, man.
She
And it
killed it.
sucks. It's awesome, and it sucks because now we're gonna have to wait.
We're
And
gonna
I
have to
know
wait so long.
they're gonna leave us on some, you know, the show's so good. I can't wait for it. Only a
It's
couple more
so good.
days.
It's so good. I wonder, like, how, like, just back to how we started this conversation. Like, I mean, Apple has unlimited money. Like, Apple can found a country if they wanted to easily. But
Yeah,
like,
Sarah
all
Microsoft.
all these people that miss out. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. So I was at Ray's house a couple weeks ago, and one of their friends comes in and is like, "Hey, are you watching From? The hell is From? I don't know what From is." So we Google it. Turns out this show has won awards. Like people
Yeah,
are
one of the best
loving the
shows
show.
out.
It's great. Season 2 just ended. It popped up on my timeline. And they said the last episode of season 2 is one of the greatest season ending episodes of any TV show ever. And like,
And dude, guess
it's
what?
on MGM Plus. Who the hell has MGM Plus? Like I don't.
Yeah, hey, people that don't have Apple TV, the
So now
other
I'm
half of
like,
the world.
yo, now I want to watch it because they're hyping it
Oh yeah,
up.
for
And
sure.
it's been like 3 people plus this article that popped up, and I'm like, but to think like all these shows winning awards and it never piqued our, I didn't even know it didn't pique our curiosity, but like imagine if you didn't have Apple and never even watched Silo. I can't even fathom that. Like I can't even think about like not having watched this show so far. It's nuts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's with any service, man. Like people are gonna pick and choose. Like imagine not having HBO Max and people are not watching The Last of Us. There's plenty of people that don't want to pay for it. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, whatever, I'll pass. They just don't know. You know, they just don't know.
And I get that that's okay if you're like not into TV at all, right? Like if you don't watch TV, if you don't watch TV shows, like I get that. Like even you're like more a gamer for the most part. Like you rather
Yeah.
play a game than watch something. So like I get certain aspects of people like see I like going to the movies. I like watching TV shows. I also like playing video games, but I spend part of my hobby is watching these things because I enjoy them. So like if you are an enthusiast or you like TV or you like movies, like those people, like if you've never wanted to check anything out, it's just like
No, but sure, dude. I got a couple of friends where I'm like, man, I'm about to go to the movies and see this. Like, yeah, man, I can't wait to watch it on whatever. I'm like, who are you, man? I don't like what? You don't want to go to the movies and see this shit? Yeah, man, I watch it on Flickster or something, dude, or wait till I could download it or something. I'm like,
I mean,
your
that's the
life
only other
sucks.
way too. Like there has to be some pirating going on a Silo. Like for a lot of people that don't have Apple
Oh,
TV.
yeah, on Flickster, I didn't
Yeah, there's
have.
no way.
Yeah, there was plenty. There's plenty of stuff like that, dude. Because there's plenty of shows I couldn't watch, and I went on the internet and watched them. So I get it.
It's interesting.
So speaking of other shows, we got the Nick Fury show finally came out.
Secret Invasion.
Yep.
Marvel Secret Invasion.
Imagine so many people that don't deal with Disney too. There's a lot of those people missing out on a
No,
lot of
for
good
sure.
stuff. But
There's
I
definitely
like this
people
show
that
more
are
than
not
Brian
doing.
did. Brian said it was just all right. I thought it was amazing, especially the ending, man. Like that's I don't know. I just like seeing normal people do extraordinary shit. That's just my thing. That's my thing. You know what I mean? Like I know there's Thor, Superman, whatever you want to say, but there's these other people that are fucking putting their lives on the line too to save the world and doing what they can. And when that's full, when it's out there like that and it's good, I think it's really dope. You know what I'm saying? Like Brian was telling, it reminds me a lot of Winter Soldier, obviously. And I think the acting's great. The directing's I like. It was good. It was really good to me.
I thought it was good. I don't dislike it. I thought it was.
Oh,
I thought it was just that. I thought it was a good opening to the show. Like I wouldn't say it was a great opening to a show. Like I comparing it to the feeling of Silo. Like we watched episode 1 and I couldn't wait for episode 2. Like I watched episode 1 of this and I was just like, next week hopefully we get more. Like it wasn't like a. It just didn't
bro,
build for
like
me. And Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel movie. So like,
which is crazy, man. Because from your text, I was like, oh man, this show's gonna be boring. Dude, there was so much stuff going on, man. Like, and then at the end, all the explosion shit like that. I didn't think nothing like that was gonna happen. From what the hell you taking? Like, that was all right, man.
it was all right.
I was like,
I feel like it
no,
was I feel
how?
like it was Corey like it was obvious that was going to happen. Like that last part
Yeah,
was
you needed it.
obvious it was gonna happen.
Yeah. And that was dope, man. That one dude, he kept like shape shifting at the end of the episode. Nick Fury noticed him, and then he like kept changing to different people. I was like, oh, that is so dope. That
So
was,
so he first turned into the girl, and I'm pretty sure that was him in the alley before he got taken by the Russian
yeah,
people.
yeah,
So then he saw the old guy later on too, and again he turned into him. So he was turning into people that he probably had turned into earlier in the episode. I mean, the
mm-hmm.
scrolls are cool. There was a thought when I don't even know if you watched Captain Marvel. So like there was this big thing
Yeah,
when Captain Marvel came out because the scrolls they weren't never really good. So like in Captain Marvel, they were like this
good guys.
good race that just happened to lose their planet and they're looking to settle somewhere else. And it just was weird. Like it was very out of character, knowing
Yeah,
that this was the future, right? That
yeah.
Secret Invasion and Secret Wars was where we were going. To start it there was just strange.
I don't think so because that was long, long. That was forever ago. And now you're getting like this is the meat potatoes. But I said that too. I was like, this girl's ain't good. This girl, but Like everything else, everybody ain't all bad. So there's some good scrolls,
No,
and
true,
there's some
true.
bad ones. And not everyone wants, you know what I'm saying? So there's a divide in the middle of their people, which I really like as well. Because
Well,
you never
the
know.
divide only happened because so it's one of those things, right? Where like, well, first off, the director was told, "Don't read the comic books. We want this to be different." Secret Invasion wasn't that great of a storyline, but it was cool in general. So they were like, "Don't look at the source material. Kind of do your own thing with this." So their own thing with this is, so the faction within the Skrulls happened because Captain Marvel and Nick Fury abandoned them. So Captain Marvel leaves Earth to find them a home. She never comes back, at least not until Thanos is around. And then the blip happens. So Nick Fury's gone for 5 more years. So now,
Yeah.
over the course of the last 30 years, they've been there without answers, without what they have been promised. So, like, they're supposed to find them a home. So the younger generation's like, man, F that. We're going to make Earth our home. We're just going to get rid of everybody here. So, like, it's interesting, but I don't know. I don't dislike it. So I don't want people to feel like it was a bad show. It was a good first episode. I don't know what I was expecting. Clearly it didn't meet my expectations.
Yeah. I like that you still can't like trust everybody. Like Maria Hill died or whatever, but was that really Maria Hill? Like every I never know who the hell nobody is because you don't, and that's
Well,
all I really like that about it.
that's what they could do too. I just hope they don't like bring back none of the dead people, because that's what they could do. Like, this is an opportunity for them to say, bring back Robert Downey Jr. as an example. I hope that doesn't happen. Like, it would minimize what happened in Endgame.
Oh no, but they can't go that far because the scrolling is powerful as the other one is, and that Iron Man was top notch doing his thing. Like a scroll could, I don't think a scroll could be Iron Man
So
because with the technology and the nanobites and stuff, that's all Tony. A scroll can't copy that. You know what I'm saying?
so they can copy their memories, because in this
No,
episode,
yeah, sure. They can't copy like those nanos are in his body type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a part of him now. Scroll couldn't copy his technology.
so
You know what I'm
they
saying?
could, because it's a
No, not with
memory.
the shape shifting.
It's a
There's no
memory.
way.
It's tech, Ray. So like, when they put
No,
him
but
into
those
the
nanobites are
machine,
in him.
no, because it's like when he took the arc reactor out of his chest. Like, the arc reactor's not even in his chest anymore. It's just nanobots that he has that he taps. So
No,
like
but yeah, but
like
it's
any
attached. It's
technology,
still attached to his heart. That thing
no.
when he
They were
taps it,
in the
and the thing on his
MCU, it's
chest.
not attached to his heart. Like, he talks about it with Pepper when the Hulk comes back and says Thanos is coming, and he's talking about a dream, and he's talking about how they had a kid and they named him blah blah blah. Like, she specifically, I'm talking about the MCU, right? I'm not
Yeah,
talking
no,
about the comic books. So like, she specifically says, you took that out, and then you no longer needed to live. Like, it's not attached to him at all. It's just technology. So like,
oh
if
yeah, so he stopped being Iron Man.
yeah. So like, if the Skrulls can take his memories, they might not be able to use that specific nanotech, but they can make their own. They know how to do it. They use his memories to do it, and then they clone it to themselves. What's cool
Gotcha.
about this, and that's different, is in the comics, the Skrulls really suck at like shape shifting. They can do it, but they don't do it for long periods of time, and they're not necessarily great at it. In the show, and they explain it fairly well, I would say, is those warriors are in their human form all the time, so that they can pass as human. Like, they
Yeah,
practice, they spend time doing it, and
and obviously
that's an
he wants
interesting twist, right?
like the one that's Nick Fury's friend. He's really cold at it.
Right.
That dude who's
Talos or
running
whatever,
that
Talon.
dude's run who's that guy who's running the rebellion is
He's
probably the
code
best because he was just that was the
switching.
coldest scene to me. That was the coldest scene. He just kept like changing people. I was like, damn it, he's that cold. Like he was just on the fly, just
So all
flopping.
hell's gonna break loose now, I think. um so the bombs go off, right? And like,
Yeah,
clearly Nick Fury's there. People have seen him. People also think they see Nick Fury shoot Mariah Hill. So they think Hill and Nick Fury are off the reservation anyways, because um
yeah. No one's been in contact with Nick
Rhodey,
Fury in forever.
yeah, and the president sends Rhodey to go bring them back. So no one's really talked to them. So now there's probably going to be video evidence. Well, there's going to be eyewitnesses saying Nick Fury not only shot her, but also planted the bomb. So it's going to start civil
Dude,
unrest.
so many people died there.
Yeah,
Dude,
dude. It
people
was nuts.
on the. I was like, oh my god, buildings just exploding everywhere, man. People running and screaming. Like I thought they did that scene very well because that was realistic as hell. Like there's smoke, you can't really hear shit. Like shit's just going bananas, you know. And then, but Nick Fury's just like ice in his veins, and I also like that he's second guessing himself. Other people also second guessing him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, you ain't the same dude no more. You know what I'm saying? He comes in that bar, people are like, man, fuck Nick Fury. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't Nick no more, man. Like, I really like that, and I know it's gonna be a come. He's gonna get some get back. That's gonna be the final, hurrah for Nick Fury because Sam's getting old. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
think I think
Well,
this
well,
might be it for Nick Fury for sure. Well, we know Rhodey's gonna kind of be in it. We also know that this movie is likely going to set up the new Captain America movie
yeah.
because it's about a new world order. I know they don't call it that no more. I think they changed it to Brave New World or some shit. But
Yes, you
we
said
know
it.
that the events of this show are gonna heavily influence the Captain America movie. So
Yeah,
there's gonna be a changing of the guard. Rhodey's gonna do some other stuff. I wonder who, if Mariah Hill is dead, like who's gonna be the leader of
yeah,
this group. I don't even know if we can call them Shield at this point. And then we
yeah,
had probably the biggest cast member because we talked about great TV shows like from Game of Thrones. Emilia Clarke is Gaia or Gia or whatever her name is. So Talos's daughter,
daughter.
who seems to be or is going to be the main character, along
Yeah,
with Samuel L. Jackson.
yeah,
So
because she'll know. She'll know she wants to be
right.
good. Well, that's not even necessarily bad. Like they're not necessarily bad. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
they just want a home.
Yeah, and they ain't. They're not humans, so they're like, fuck them. Which ain't necessarily good either. But
Well, she's
so,
clearly
hey, if you ain't watching
convicted.
either of these shows, you should be. I want to talk about. Let's get into some video games and stuff
It's
because
been a
last
long
week,
time since we talked about
and,
video games.
yeah. So Brian sent me a couple of things, and then so I've been kind of thinking about that, asking some questions. So that new RPG that's coming out, what is it? It's going to be running on not the AMD, right?
What are you talking about? Starfield?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah. So there's different graphics cards for those that aren't aware. If you're not like a PC gamer or even a gamer in general, so typically there are three main ones. Let's call them two, but there's a third player. So you have Nvidia or Nvidia, however you want to say the name. They're the high end graphics card. They typically cost a little more, but it's what most people get. Most games are optimized for Nvidia on PC for the most part. The second option is AMD cards. AMD dominates the CPU space, so the brains. Typically, most computers either have an Intel or an AMD brain, right? And then the graphics cards are mostly NVIDIA because they lead the market. But AMD's come a long way. They make a cheaper option, more bang for your money. And also, AMD has a deal with all of the consoles. So the consoles all have AMD graphics cards for the most part. And then Intel is trying to break into that market kind of unsuccessfully. So Starfield's an Xbox exclusive. We'll talk a little bit more about that, I think, in a second. But so it's Xbox exclusive, and it's going to be on PC, obviously, because Microsoft. So they announced today that they are partnering with AMD, which makes sense because it's an Xbox exclusive game. So it's really going to be about optimization. So like how a game is optimized. So in theory, the game should run better for you if you have an AMD graphics card, is what
yeah.
it'll boil down to.
From what I was gathering too by reading that though, I think Xbox should have kept it on the Xbox. Period. No PC. But by you picking that card, from what I gathered from reading, it's holding the potential of the game back. Like
It
it could have
could.
been a lot colder. But I mean, it's meant for Xbox, so I get that. But then I wouldn't have put it on every other system. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not system, but I wouldn't let it go nowhere else but Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Now I feel like as a gamer, so you're like, well, damn man, why wouldn't you run it the best you could run it? You know what I'm saying? But that's not the case now. So I think that kind of sucks. But the game still looks amazing and it's going to be huge and stuff like that. But it could have been better.
Well, Microsoft's quest is always, well, I wouldn't say always, but since last gen, is to really get into just dominating content. So like every Xbox exclusive game is going to be on PC. Like it's going to be an Xbox console exclusive, but it will be on PC. And that's a
Yeah,
better way to
Microsoft.
give you value too, right?
Yeah.
Like the Ultimate Game Pass gives you PC versions and regular versions of the games. So like if I'm going to offer you the value of it, I have to put it on the PC because I'm charging you $16 a month or whatever it is to have both. Otherwise, you would just have regular Game Pass.
What's insane
Um,
right now? Like I'm not a fan of either or whatever, but I only have an Xbox right now. But the way Sony's acting makes me never want to own a PS5, and I hate their company even more because their movies suck. And now I don't. Today, or they just put out the recording of like the CEO of PlayStation or whatever. He's saying that Game Pass is destroying. Like these dudes are so butthurt that their shit ain't as dope as Xboxes. It's unbelievable right now. It's unbelievable, and you're winning the war, dude. You're the top. You're at the top, and you're fucking crying about this bloody. You look, they're like punks to me right now. Straight
so it's
punks.
not like they're volunteering this information, right? Like
Oh no, they're not. But it's
there's a
legal.
court case and a lot of things are being uncovered that otherwise would not have ever been known. So like what Sony, what Jim Ryan, I think his name is really saying is like he is being the voice for the developers. The reality is it probably is hurting the developers. Like think about how much, say I'm getting $60 a game, right? It's different when you get more eyes on it. So like I have more people playing my game, but if you don't have, say, like a microtransaction, it doesn't matter. Like a single player game, say Starfield, for example, probably will have a season pass, but they're not going to have microtransaction. So if you're giving me that game for free, and it ends up being one of the biggest games of all time, the only way that my business, that Bethesda, is going to make money will be on DLC, 10, $20 at a time. Versus I released the game for $70 and maybe I made 45 or whatever it cost, the difference of making the game. So
Yeah.
like clearly they're talking to developers, and I'm sure that a lot of developers feel that way. Like, well, if we put on Xbox, now Microsoft is paying these developers a lot of money to put their games on a system. But what happens when Microsoft owns you, right? So like Microsoft owns Bethesda now. They're trying to own Activision. So like these things are going to be put on Game Pass to
Dude,
deliver the
I didn't
value.
know how much money Microsoft had. Then I seen for these two companies they're trying to get, they're willing to pay $69 billion. Dude, in the testimony, whatever it said in there, the Xbox is like, we're gonna uh out we're gonna outspend PlayStation out of the video game market. Like, dude,
Yeah.
they must have I don't know how much money they have, but they literally said in their statement, we're gonna out whatever the hell outbuy them or outpay. We got more money than they do, and we're gonna try to buy them out of the competition. Like that was crazy when I read that. I was like, holy shit, they got a
Yeah,
lot of money.
it was like we're in a unique position to outspend Sony out of this
Yeah.
race or whatever. But it
Well,
also shows
Sony,
you like again, it's not the consoles, they want the content, right? Like they've already admitted in this case that the Xbox lost last gen. Like the console wars are over. We didn't even give a shit about that. What we care now about is
the
being
future.
able to play. Like another thing that was uncovered in 2019.
They
I
want
don't know
first
if it
party game.
was I don't know if
I
it
think
was
they
Phil
did.
Spencer or somebody else. They sent another memo internal. These are all internal emails. Like none of this shit was supposed to ever be known ever, but because um they're looking into this acquisition, the government is now all these things are coming to light. So they're like, dude, Phil Spencer said in 2019, my guy, we don't have the content in a space that's not growing. Like console gaming isn't growing. But what is growing is mobile gaming. And he actually suggested we should just punt the whole Xbox brand and create a mobile gaming brand, bro. That's how much money is in mobile gaming. For him to even consider that is absolutely insane. But it also gives you light to the Game Pass model because now it's not about playing it on Xbox. It's about playing it wherever you want to play it. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
key, especially with cloud gaming. Like, I don't
Yeah.
even need a powerful console. I don't need a powerful phone. I don't need a powerful tablet because the processing is being done at the Microsoft Service Center. I just need a screen and a controller I can Bluetooth to, and I'm playing, a AAA
Whatever.
game. I can play
Yeah.
Battlefield on the cloud right now. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. They're trying to buy up all these companies because they want to put out first party titles everywhere and good ones. That's why they're doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and man, that I hope it don't get I hope it don't get shut down. I don't know where it's at right now, but I know they're trying not to. A lot of people are trying not to let them do this.
So it's funny because it's viewed like Sony came and said they don't want it to happen. And I'm sure there's an extent that says they don't want it to happen, right? But I don't think Sony was the one that, like, and I could be wrong, but I don't think they went to the FTC and be like, yo, you need to stop this merger. I think the government was concerned about it, and Sony got brought into it because they're the biggest player in town. So, like, I need you to tell me why I'm right. I need you to tell me why this isn't a good idea. But the CEO of Sony Entertainment America was asked point blank. There's emails in this court case and just by interviews, like, how do you feel about Starfield being an Xbox exclusive? Because it was going to be a PlayStation exclusive. That's why they ended up buying Bethesda, which is absolutely insane that that's even the case. But how do you feel about it? He was like, I don't like it, but I don't see it as like an antitrust or anti-violation thing. Like, and you know why he has to say that? Because Sony has a shit ton of PlayStation exclusives. Like, you can't just go and be like, oh, they can't have exclusives when you have
the best.
It's not even right. It's not even debatable. Like, you have the best exclusive and you buy studios yourself. So like, you can't just be in there and be like, oh no, we shouldn't allow them to do that when Sony does it too. It's like, but
I don't know for sure. That's
you have to answer the question, right? And there are emails and things are coming up. Like, what is the studio that makes Destiny? Like, Microsoft thought about buying Bungie.
They did.
Microsoft. No, I thought Sony bought Bungie.
Microsoft owns Bungie.
Let's see who bought Bungie. Somebody was
and that thing you sent me, Microsoft owned or they're no, I think they're trying to get Bungie and Sega right now. Nobody owns.
No, so Sony owns Bungie. So they bought them last year, but Microsoft thought about buying them. So, but yeah, so like you said, they want to create content. So like, where I tried to look it up earlier.
They're trying to buy Sega.
They try to buy Sega.
Dude, that's paper. That's money.
So in 2020, Phil Spencer pitched Microsoft to buy Sega. So they would have got Sonic. They would have got a bunch of other titles. But they weren't going to be in this. Again, they want to be a content place. Like, this is what people don't get. It's not console.
Yeah, like, they don't want to be exclusive.
Yeah, Sega wouldn't have been exclusive. Sega would have still been, all the Sega games would have still been on any console.
Yeah, but all that money comes to them, though.
Right.
It can go wherever it wants.
Minecraft.
But all that money's coming to us.
Microsoft owns Minecraft. Minecraft still exists on everything imaginable to man. You can play that anywhere you want to play it. But this is one of the things that was in the email. It said, we believe that Sega has built a well-balanced portfolio of games across segments with global geographic appeal, and will help us accelerate the Xbox Game Pass both on and off of console. So, like, it's one of those things.
Dude, they want to get their hands in everything, dog. Microsoft just wants the money to keep coming in. Obviously, they have forever money right now because they're, dude, $69 billion to buy 3 companies or something like that. They're just banking on the future, dog. They're like, if we can get these companies and we can get them turning out good games, we're gonna get our money back tenfold.
Dude, Sega's valued at $2 billion, which isn't a lot compared to like Activision or Bethesda. But so outside of pursuing our mobile first strategy, we conclude that Sega is the most attractive next acquisition target due to its PC catalog presence on mobile and the global brand affinity. So,
and also, a lot of the that I was reading in that article, some of the Sega games never even came to Xbox.
No,
that one, Sonic, whatever, one of the best Sonics that came out a while ago, it wasn't even on Xbox. and then that Yakuza game, whatever that was very popular, was never even on Xbox. Like they never even now they got touch none of that. You know what I'm saying? So they're
So
trying to date.
even back then, dog, they were talking about Super Giant Games, Niantic. Niantic makes Pokemon Go, bro. Bungie, Scopely, IO Interactive, Thunderful. Like these are all just companies that they are like, these are companies that have potential that we should look at buying. Like,
Oh
dog, they're
yeah,
looking at just a complete and utter takeover of content.
yeah.
Just
I mean,
content, bro.
if I was Sony, I'd be scared too. They're scared,
Yeah, I mean, again,
but they have nothing to worry about
there will always be,
because they're number one.
yeah, and there will always be room for a console. Like
Hmm.
you're not going to be a PC gamer, and there are millions of people that are like you. So like, if Microsoft woke up tomorrow and said, you know what, guys, we're just going to be a content provider. Xbox Game Pass is going to live on every device you can possibly dream of. You just go out and buy a PlayStation,
Yep.
and that's just how it will be. So like, there's always going to be that 100 million people that will prefer to play on a console. So Sony will never, it's not going to affect them more once Xbox inevitably just says,
Yeah.
we're moving on to other things.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So one of the things when they bought Bethesda was because they wanted to keep Starfield off of the PlayStation. They told them, you can't. So the whole thing is like, oh, we promise we're going to keep Call of Duty multi-platform, and we're even going to bring it to the Switch for the next 10 years. Like that's the argument. Like we're not going to pull it. And Sony's answer is like, Call of Duty is such a big mover, like that would create a problem. Like it would be an issue for everyone, not just us. Like that's the counter argument. But when they bought Bethesda, they told them you can no longer release Starfield or some other game on a PlayStation. These are going to be Xbox and PC exclusives. But what this lawsuit has uncovered or whatever is for the Activision deal, they said the opposite. So the CEO over at Bethesda
Yeah.
is like, well, how are they different? Right? Like, how are my games different from the Call of Duty then? Like, if you're letting them do it, because again, it comes down to as a developer, how many people can play your game, and then obviously how much money can you make from them. So if you're
Yeah.
limiting me to a third of the market because the Xbox is a third of the market, if that, like it's a scope thing. It's super crazy. It's fascinating. I love this shit.
I think Starfield's going to catch them up though. People are going to buy the system just to play that game.
Bro, I know 4 people that have already bought Xboxes for Starfield right now.
And that's
And it's
just
not even out. It
four
comes
people we
out in
know.
September. It comes out in September.
I think it's going to flip the market. This game. I'm not going to play it, but just reading and watching videos and stuff, it looks like the craziest RPG I've ever seen.
Dude, just so just in dialogue. So like only 10% of the planets have life on them. So there's 1,000 planets, only 100 have life. The rest of the planets are like resource heavy and exploration types. Say you spent an hour on the ones that have life only. That's 100 hours. We're not even talking about customization
That's
here, folks.
crazy,
We're talking
bro.
about spending 1 hour on one planet that holds life. Not exploring the whole planet, just 1 hour. Now you throw into that customizing your dude, customizing your ship. It's like 10 games in one. Dude, they said that in dialogue alone, there are 500 hours of dialogue, bro. Doc, this
Dude,
game, bro, is gonna be the end off for a lot of people. Like there's not gonna people that are into RPGs aren't playing another game when this comes out, possibly for years, as long as it's not buggy. Because this is the problem with all the Xbox exclusives lately. They've launched and they've been hot ass garbage. So like,
yeah,
and Microsoft knows it. That's why they told this game was supposed to come out last year, I think. And Microsoft was like,
yeah.
nope, pump the brakes, make sure it's right. So for the last almost year, they have been playing this game in their office, bro. Actually playing it, making sure it works and customizing this and dude, you can spend hundreds of hours just customizing your ship, bro. you connect pieces to it and it changes the inside of the ship. Like this is gonna be the craziest game of all time.
That's what I'm
But
saying. It could turn.
so I don't know if it'll change the consoles because you're gonna be able to probably play it on the cloud. So like you can just play it on your phone or on your iPad because it's gonna be living somewhere on the cloud. But more people might be wanting to check out a PC now because it won't be locked at 30, right? Like you can,
Yeah,
not that it matters because Nintendo makes games at 30 frames per second every day and they still sell a shit ton of video games. But
amazing. Nintendo is the greatest video game company of all time. We can switch to that. I was texting Brian and saying like this, like me as a gamer, me and him as a gamer. Every time a new console's coming or some new things coming, Nintendo doesn't give a shit.
they don't
They do.
care.
They're still using cartridges. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, we've been away from cartridges for almost 30 years. That is dead technology. Cartridges are dead technology, but this company seems to sell millions and millions of shitty pieces of plastic and be above the rest. Like, dude, their first party titles, like besides PlayStation and Naughty Dog, whatever, for the last couple years, are unmatched. Dude, every Mario game is a good game. Every Donkey Kong game, every Zelda game,
Zelda game.
dude, whatever. Splatoon's taken off. You're saying their second one probably be a third of that. Like their
There's three
first party
already.
Mario Party, like, dude, and dude, they're working with dead technology, guys,
Bro,
and
the
these
Switch is
games
7
are
years
fire.
old. The Switch
Dude,
is
that
7 years old and it was old when it launched. Like the tech in it was dated technology 7 years
dude,
ago.
there's a 3DS cartridges for putting inside that Switch, my man, and they're raking the dough in. Like it's
Dude,
incredible to me.
I've read articles of like developers talking about Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and they're like, dude, it is insane what Nintendo can pull out of this hard drive. Like, this is one of the biggest scope games, one of the best RPG games again ever. Breath of the
It's,
Wild was one of the best
it's
ones too.
not a
It's
thing,
on a
man. But
tiny cartridge with some updates, and people are just like, how, bro? Like, how
dude, people
how
are
is this
building
possible?
Batmobiles. The game looks amazing.
So that aspect of the game is what developers talk about the most. Like, how is it possible that with this limited tech, dude, you can build whatever you want, dog? There's Batmobiles, tanks. I saw a video the other day. Some dude built a working submarine, bro, and threw it in the water and went underwater. Like they're building planes, all kinds of stuff.
N64 technology type shit. It's crazy to me.
But
And
they
then he said,
are
but
they're
dude,
repping.
hey, oh, go ahead.
They're looking to release a next gen console though because
Oh yeah,
today they released a statement saying again, oh, last to the party because Xbox did this 3 gens ago, Sony did it 2 gens ago. But typically, when Nintendo releases a console, whatever you bought on the old console and your username, that shit is checked. Like you're done. It's just on that console. So for the first time, Nintendo's gonna allow you to bring your name to the next gen and whatever purchases you had to your next console. So, like Microsoft and Sony have been doing for years, Nintendo's now going to do that. So the fact that they're even talking about that means in the next 2 or 3 months, they're about to announce a new Nintendo console, and by Christmas time, it'll be on the shelves, which is interesting.
hey, I might switch to Nintendo because with that technology they're talking about, then we could finally get party chats, a friend system, a proper one. You know what I'm saying? Like it could actually be because, dude, I love Mario Party, Mario Tennis, all them kind of games, but like I can't take away from what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like my Xbox, whatever. I play a lot of shooters and Call of Duty and stuff like that. But if Nintendo was good enough to have these third party titles still be fire and then have their single party titles, I would only play Nintendo. I'm serious. Like if they come out with a system that has like a party chat cross platform, like if they can get that done, I would never fuck with another company. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't do it because I want
It
to
would
play
be
all that
interesting.
stuff. But to me in my mind, if I'm playing Mario Party, I'm thinking about playing Call of Duty or I'm thinking about playing Battlefield. I'm thinking about playing something that I play on somewhere else. And if Nintendo can do that, I wouldn't go nowhere else. I wouldn't. You know what I mean? I would love them to be what I want. You know what I'm saying? Like I would love that.
I just wonder, like, I mean, we like games to look great, and like Nintendo's never gonna be that, right? So like even right now, the
What do you
government's
mean?
questioning like a Call of Duty game's not gonna look on a Nintendo the way that it looks on a piece on a PS5 or an Xbox. Like right now, the government's questioning how they could possibly get Call of Duty to even run on the Switch. Like those are questions they're having to answer right now. So I think them releasing a new console, however much updated it's going to be, I think the model of the Switch has proven to be successful. So I don't think you can switch that model. The Switch is amazing, y'all. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think at this point, what you do is make a better screen, have just a better console itself, and then beef up the dock. Like, I talked a lot about the Rogue Ally, right? Like, I've made videos about this on the page. So Asus has a dock for the Rogue that's a graphics card. It costs like $2,000, but it's just a concept, right? Like when the thing is docked, it becomes a high-end PC. Nintendo's dock doesn't really increase performance. Like you can play at 1080,
Yeah.
but it doesn't increase performance. So like, let's say that they even don't say that you don't like you don't make the Switch better, but you sell me a $300 dock that makes the Switch look like a PS5. I'm in, bro. Like if I don't know, there's gonna be technical difficulties, obviously, because when you undock it, like you might not be able to play certain games. So it makes more sense to release a completely new, updated console.
Which
But
they
just
will.
Nintendo's just not like they don't care about graphics. Dude, I'll give you an example. I looked this up earlier. Here's the breakdown of the top game console publishing revenue shares globally. So, like, how many games or what percentage of the global market these companies own? I'm going to start from the lowest up to the top. These are the, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are the top 9 most successful gaming publishers in the world. Bandai Namco owns 3.5%. Xbox, 4.9%. Ubisoft, 5.1%. Epic Games, 6.1%. You know how much money they make from like Fortnite and shit? That shit is crazy. Activision, which Microsoft is trying to currently buy, 7.4%. So that would make Xbox number 2 on this list if that merger goes through, or acquisition, because it's not a merger. Sony's at 7.5%. Take-Two, 8.4%. EA, 16.1%. And Nintendo is number 1 at 18.5%. They don't give a shit about what their games look like because they're fun. Like, they own 18% of the global game publishing revenue market, my guy, on a 7-year-old console. Insane. It's insane.
Yeah,
It's
but even though saying that they don't care what the games look like, they look good.
No, I mean they look good in a different sense, right? Like they look cool, but they're not realistic. Like there's very few realistic looking games because it's not because they probably wouldn't want them on there. It's because they don't have the tech to do it. They just don't. But
And then with that new console, they said it would only be as powerful as like a PS4 or PS4 Pro. They're still undermining their potential, and they constantly do it. Dude, they could have came out and said, "Hey, you know, guys, we're gonna make a console, and it's gonna be just as good as the other two." They're like, "No, you know, guys, we're making another console, and it's gonna be as good as that last one that came out before those came out, guys." And we're like, "I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what?"
It's interesting though.
But look what they're doing with the shit they're working with now. If there's something as powerful as a PS Pro,
it would be nuts. It would be nuts.
The PS4 Pro is just under these other two. Like it's not too far behind.
It would be
PS4
good.
Pro is fire.
It's just crazy, bro. So we talked about this before. So the mobile market is the largest gaming market in the world. It's 70% of sales, which is fucking insane. Out of
all the little transactions, dude.
Bro.
Any mobile game has many transactions. Yeah. And you're already addicted to your phone, then you get addicted to buying those little fucking transactions. Dude, mobile gaming is
how many times do I send you a screenshot of some Marvel cards that I bought on Marvel Snap? It's like every 2 day
once a week.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. And then the PC gaming market is 33 billion. So that's second of it. Console gaming is only 28 billion. So when Microsoft says, like, let's just punt this shit and go to mobile, like, there's money out there to go get. But I just thought about now when I was talking about the shares, how can you say Xbox puts Call of Duty on the Game Pass? Let's say that they do that. How can you get Xbox to run on a Nintendo? Just put the fucking Game Pass on the Nintendo. You put the Game Pass on a Nintendo, let them cloud game it. You can, because Nintendo does that already in Japan. They can cloud game like certain titles, they play it off of the cloud. You let, and they're friendly. Nintendo and Xbox are very friendly. It's not like Sony and Xbox. Like if they make a PS Pro level type of console, you put the Game Pass on the Switch 2 or whatever it's called.
Over.
And then you let them cloud stream too for titles like Call of Duty or Battlefield. Boy.
And they own that much of the market?
Boy.
Like, dude, the money would fall from the skies. Dude, like,
it would be insane, bro. Absolutely
insane.
Ludicrous. I don't know. It's exciting. I love talking about video games and beyond it. So like I'm in sales, right? I'm in business. I find it fascinating. And I like looking into the future and seeing like what could happen, what may happen, predicting based on the things that you see or know. So like not only talking about video games, but talking about this part of it, right? Like the business aspect of it is just fascinating to me. I love it.
No, man, a lot of good stuff right now, man. A lot of good stuff, man.
Craziness. Did you see I guess one last thing here before we call it a night. Superman and Lois were casted. We have casting news today.
Superman looks like Henry Cavill light.
He does look. He has. So when you think of superheroes, especially Batman, because the cowl covers his face, and Superman because he has that all-American type look, you need the jawline. Like you need a jaw. Like the dude has. He looks the part.
Yeah.
What he isn't though is buff at all.
Yeah, he's little.
He's little. He's like little. He's little. So there'll be some creative. He'll probably get buffed up, but like height wise, there'll be some creative shooting. So your new Superman is David Corenswit. And your new Lois is Rachel Brosnahan.
I don't like her head.
Yeah, Ray's not a fan of her head. I think she's a cutie. She has that girl next door type vibe to her. But
I guess I got a thing for big heads or something because her shit is thin. She looks like the Moon Man from McDonald's or some shit. I don't like
I wouldn't say her head's lit. It is thinner. She has like a thin profile for sure. But I mean, I don't know like what.
Hey, she could be. Hey, hopefully she can be annoying because that's all I was saying.
Yeah, that she for sure is annoying. I don't know what like Corenswit has even been. Like, what has he been in?
I've never seen him before.
So he's been in The Politician and a Netflix series called Hollywood. Oh, he was in We Own the City. I watched that show on HBO. Thought it was cool. I don't remember him on there. He's gonna be in an Apple series called Lady in the Lake and in the Twisters sequel called Twisters. Ooh, what a creative name, Twisters.
Nobody wants to see that shit.
Brosnahan on that. So when I was little, I would fly back and forth from Puerto Rico to see my dad because he lived over there. And one of my own, I won't say only, but like one of my best memories of doing that, I don't remember how old I must have been, probably 8 or 9. He was like, let's go spend the day at the movies. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. So we go. And that day is this going to be crazy because like, we watched Twister. And I think like it was either like Eraser or some other shit that Arnold Schwarzenegger was in at the same time. Like we watched back to back. I always think about it. So when Twister's on, I always watch it. But Brosnahan, it's a good get for DC because she's accomplished, right? Like when you talk about people playing superhero roles, we talked about this last episode or when we were talking about Elizabeth Olsen or whatever. Like they're not established. They're usually younger. Like take what you can get. I mean, she's an Emmy and Golden Globe winner for The Marvelous Miss Maisel. She was in House of Cards, where she earned an Emmy nomination for that. So, like, she has some credentials under her belt, you know, coming into this thing.
No, that's good for them. I mean, and the dude looks good too. You know what I'm saying? It's all about people don't say it ain't, but it's especially superhero movies. Are you gonna play somebody that's famous? Like, there's a certain look.
There is
But I
a
mean,
look.
you can overcome that though because Michael Keaton probably got the most heat. Even back then, there wasn't Twitter or nothing like that. But people were like, "Man, that ain't fucking Batman." I was like, "No." He was getting a lot of flack for being a little curly headed dork looking dude. You know what I'm saying? But he pulled it off, and he's the best Batman ever. So you can. But this guy definitely looks the part. He looks
He
like Superman.
does. He looks like
Besides,
Superman.
but
Besides the
Superman,
bulkiness.
Don't gotta be huge either because he never really showed he was like huge or nothing. You know what I'm saying?
No, he doesn't need because he's strong inherently. The sun's what makes him strong, not his muscles.
Yeah.
But I feel like he looks more like the version of Superman from Flashpoint, where he's like really
Oh
like
wow.
Supergirl. If you watch the latest Flash movie, Supergirl in the Flash when they find her, he looks more like that than regular. But I mean, this movie probably doesn't start filming for like another year. Like, I don't need him to get like Thor buff or Henry Cavill buff, but he needs to get a little. He needs to get a couple little pounds of muscle on him.
Yeah,
Fill out the suit. He got to fill out the suit.
he's got to get like Ryan Reynolds buff at least. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Yep.
or Chris Evans buff. Well, Chris Evans got huge for
No, he
that
was
first scene,
big.
Captain
Yeah.
America, when they opened that fucking thing up and he's in there. I was like, dang, he look good, don't
And then
it?
when he was chopping the wood at the
Oh
house,
yeah,
I was like, "Nah, Chris Evans is swole."
dude,
Yeah,
you
I don't think he
always
needs to get that big. I don't think he
yeah
needs to
yeah
get that
not
big.
that big.
It's interesting though. I'm excited. We'll see how this is. That I read something today because more and more information is coming out now. So Superman Legacy is going to be the first movie, but it's going to be based in a world where superheroes already exist. Like Superman's not the first person around doing superhero shit, which I think is kind of cool because we don't need like an origin story for everyone. Like we've seen a lot of these, at least the Justice League ones.
Yeah
So I'm interested to see like what that world looks like as young Superman is learning to be who he is.
yeah, should be
Seems
fire.
interesting. Seems interesting.
Hey man, and James Gunn we trust, baby. He's got it. He's got it.
All right,
He's
y'all, we're
got
going to call it here. Thanks for stopping by. The YouTube channel continues to grow. We are on our way. We are looking real good right now. Hopefully, in the next month or two, we get to our goal of 1,000 followers, and then only the sky's the limit from there. Thanks for stopping by, y'all.
Stay
Stay
nerdy, y'all.
nerdy. Watch Silo. It ends this week. See
Yes,
ya.
sir. Peace.